Wow, I am loving this. There are tons of people tuning in to listen to Kristyn Getty and Sandra McCracken today. This is Ryan Dahl with PraiseCharts Live. And if you love hymns, if you love music heritage, if you love that Irish acoustic sound, we're going to get all on the inside of all that today. So I've got Kristyn and Sandra standing by. We're going to talk about their brand new album, Confessio, and 11 or 12 great hymns. We'll talk all through them, all about passing on the heritage of our faith to the next generation. So here is Kristyn and Sandra. Kristyn and Sandra. Okay, just to start.
Hi.
Now, Kristyn, I kind of liked the other headphones that you had a little bit better, but we got to at least show them. What do you say, people listening in? Which headphones do we want Kristyn wearing?
Mother of 4 girls right here.
That's right. I know. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited about this new music. I feel like just following you, Kristyn, is we just got done that conference where, you were sharing all the hymns and music and bringing in all your friends, filling the stadium in Nashville. And then you're on tour, and I'm like, okay, now it's time for a break. And then another album comes out, so you just keep going. And I love also, Kristyn, how you just keep bringing in great people to share in this journey. So Sandra, so nice to have you. This is the second time I've talked to you in 2 days, because I have to confess, I accidentally FaceTimed a group message to Sandra yesterday. You were probably walking in the park or something like that. So anyways, welcome. Love you, girls.
With my son. I guess we're starting now, but
yes, we are. Yes, we are. So why don't we just dive right in? I've got a couple of questions that I wanted to ask just to kind of open this up. I'm going to give you girls an opportunity to kind of brag on each other a little bit, because this is unique that, Kristyn, this album, these songs, you're able to share the voice of Sandra and her acoustic playing and her singing and writing and all of that. Kristyn, can you just tell a little bit about what Sandra brings to the musical vibe of the Gettys? What do you love about her? There's an easy question.
Oh, yeah, so many things.
Okay. Don't worry, we're going to get you back, because I'm going to ask Sandra the same question. So.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it is wonderful to know friendship and fellowship and a similar line of work and calling with someone else who is at a very similar life stage to me, with young children and writing songs and juggling so many things. And I had met Sandra many years ago. I don't even know when it was. And then our paths crossed again a couple of years ago. My husband, the ultimate party planner, he brings lots of people together constantly.
Yeah.
He said, Kristyn, I think Sandra, we should bring her over. Why don't you try and write some songs? And I thought, okay. And next thing, Sandra was in our home. She had her kids. I had my kids. And we actually wrote a song that day, very, very smoothly in such a focused way. I couldn't quite get over it. And we used that for the Even Song record a couple of years ago. And when we went home to Ireland last year, I was really keen to keep on writing songs, even at a distance. And Sandra was one of the people that I really wanted to do that with. I love not just the sort of the likeness of mind when it comes to processing faith and scripture and the things that we care about singing about, and the similarities in life experience. But she also brings sort of a slightly different perspective on things, and a slightly different sound and a different edge and angle. And I've always found in collaboration in the right collaborations, it makes you stronger. It fills in your gaps and helps you think in different ways. And Sandra has done that for me, and I'm so grateful.
Oh, that's beautiful. Sandra, I'm just thinking, like, if I think about the ultimate collaboration, it's Keith and Kristyn Getty, because they have been like the collaboration of the Gettys for so long. So to hear her share about just valuing your voice, your heart, your experience, just even female to female, that kind of friendship and bond, it's really special to hear her say that. But I also want to hear you share about, like, what do you see in the Gettys, and Kristyn in particular? What attracts you? I mean, we all see the public side of Kristyn. We see her on stage with her beautiful microphone and dress and daughters and all of that. But I'm sure you also see in behind the scenes, in her home, in her kitchen, on the phone. So give us a little window into this world of Kristyn.
Oh my God.
That's a funny question. I am just so grateful to get to collaborate with Kristyn. I'm so grateful for the friendship with the Gettys, and we don't live very far apart when y'all are in Nashville, at least. And that was an added gift because there's like a shared community around us, and just
Yeah.
being able to be part of that and to be in their home together has been, I mean, there really are times where I bring my toddler and we're writing and he's running around with the girls, and I think he's pretty delighted by that too. I think he's 2.5, and he's just having that little boy run around with the girls is really special. But I think what it is what I love is just the way Kristyn's life is integrated to the way that faith and creativity and family is all very fluid. And I share that, and it's always, and it's really special to get to see that from the outside, like to see that on somebody else. And I think that's, in a sense, kind of how we're made by God's design, for God to just minister to us as we care for our kids and as we go around doing the things we're called to do. In this case, writing and singing and playing. So I just see that in Kristyn, and it's just continues to inspire me, and both with our shared interest in hymns and sacred music writing, and also just family life as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I think that all just kind of spills out in this music that you're creating together. And I was saying to Kristyn before, I wanted to say this now, as I was listening to the song Past the Promise.
I think I might have lost y'all.
Oh, you lost me? We're still going here. So I was just saying that as I was listening to Past the Promise, that when I hear both of your voices singing together, it's like in stereo, just, oh, did we lose Sandra? That'll be, Kristyn, we'll just keep going, and hopefully we can bring Sandra back in.
Hopefully she can jump back in. Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I just love how, and you must love this as well, Kristyn, that when you find a voice and a heart and a person that you can share that community with, and then when you sing together, and even like singing the same, like, yes, you were singing in harmonies, but I loved it when you were singing the same melodies together. I think that's what was happening, because I was picking up this kind of stereo sound. It just kind of was a bit symbolic of this communion that you're shared together. Here's Kristyn, or here they are coming back. So one moment.
Oh, great. Yeah.
1 second, Sandra. Hopefully we got you back.
Hey,
there she is.
I was just rambling.
You were? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I just to kind of recap a little bit, I was just saying about how I loved the kind of stereo sound of your voice, and I just feel like it's a bit symbolic of even the story you're sharing of your community together in that song in particular, Past the Promise. And maybe we could just even talk about that song a bit together, because it's got a fresh beat, a sound, a rhythm, a life to it. So why don't, Kristyn, you start? Just tell a little bit about how that kind of came together. I think it symbolizes a little bit of the heart thrust of this album as well, of passing on the faith to the next generation. Go ahead.
As Sandra said, we're both very passionate about congregational singing, but another thing we're passionate about is bringing this daily life experience in our walk with Christ into the songs we sing as a congregation. And I have been thinking for quite a while how few songs we sing in church that even talk about children and parenting and the next generation. And yet for so many of us who come to church every Sunday, it's what we've spent most of our week battling through and trying to get,
for sure.
Trying to work it all out in everyday life. And so I was so keen to write songs that looked at that. And then I'd also been reflecting on a lot of sort of old folk styles of singing, and back home in the UK while we were home last year. And one of them was the Scottish walking song, which is the songs of women. It's a sort of a dying tradition now, but when they would have been drying out new tweed, they would
Yeah.
wring it out and they would put it on a large table, and women would gather around the table and they would thump the tweed on the table and then move it around. And as they did this, they would make up
Mm.
these folk songs, very often in a call and response style, not just to help keep them in rhythm, so it had this steady beat to it, but also just to share information, news, to be a community around this workspace. And I just love that idea. And so that sort of informed our approach to the music, the call and response style, that
Hmm.
steady beat, and that sense of community around the ideas, not just expresses a song we sing together, but the very act of how you sing it, would draw you into that idea.
Hmm. Beautiful. Well, Sandra, could you talk a little bit about the lyrics? I'm going to switch to a screen where we can even just look at some of the content, even some of the theology and just the heart and message behind these songs. I have this screen here like this where we can just even look at some of the lyrics of this song, Past the Promise. And you can see we've got lots of the music, the sheet music, the melodies, all the little jigs from the instruments. It's so beautifully put together. But let's just look at some of the lyrics and the expression that you guys were coming out with this song. Sandra.
Yes, this one really emerged from, it feels like the song emerged from real life and the text emerges from real life, from Hannah's story. And so many times I think God is writing a song for us in the middle of our day, and I
Yeah.
think having these kinds of where we borrow from straight out of the Old Testament and just read it off the page. And that we were hoping to weave these lyrics together in a way that was true to the original text, to Hannah's prayer.
Huh. Beautiful. And Kristyn, you were saying about the there's that kind of call and response, so it makes it, I guess, very congregational. What's been your experience just in leading this song? And I think it's only been a few times that you've probably even done it publicly now, but
Yeah,
what's that response been like?
I know we finished it like days before the Sing conference, really.
Yeah.
And suddenly
Yeah.
I was phoning Sandra and saying, you know, that wee song that we were working on? We need to just finish it because Keith really likes it and we're going to go sing it at the Bridgestone Arena next week. And would you come and sing it with me? She
Yeah.
said, okay, let's. She was very kind and rushed it through with me to get it all finished. And we were both just so um, hit, weren't we, Sandra, at that initial response from people in the room as they would sing it. And it was so much fun as two women, two mums, two singers, two writers, leading it together. And we sort of took, Sandra led off and I would echo her, and then I would take the lead and she would echo. And there was lots of moments when we would just sing together in unison, which was so fantastic as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And it was just great to see the congregation really connect with that. Now, obviously, that was on a big stage with thousands of people. But just 2 Sundays ago, we got to lead at our home church here in Nashville, just, a couple hundred people in the room. And the experience of that was just incredible. Hearing the congregations sing it so clearly, enjoying singing it. And
Yeah.
a particular memory for me on that first occasion was there was a young dad sitting. I could see him just in front of where we were singing, and he was holding his little baby. And as he was singing the chorus, he would look down and say and emphasize daughter. I think it was a
Yeah.
daughter he
Oh,
was
yeah,
holding.
right. Yeah.
And it was just what that did was exactly what I hoped would happen with the song, that people would just be singing it and you would feel that sort of multi-generational. These are promises told hundreds and hundreds of years ago, passed on through mums and dads and grandparents and pastors, on and on
Love
and
it.
on. They are still
Yeah.
true. They are still just as strong. They are still so
Hmm.
necessary. And we have the opportunity of singing them, and we need to sing them. When we sing
Yeah.
something, we remember it in such a significant way. It goes with us through our week. It stays in our mind. It impacts how we feel. It shapes the words we use when we're explaining the faith to other people, when we're praying, when we are sharing faith with others. All of it comes into play. And so to have a song, we hope can sort of fuel those conversations, keep it in your mind. And I'm not sure, Sandra, if you've had this with your kids yet, but like my 3-year-old is singing it all the
Hmm.
time, and
Mm.
that's just always a good indicator that they connect, because on first listen, maybe I'm not sure, some people will think, oh gosh, that's really congregational, and others might think, I'm not sure how I would do that in the church. But actually it is a very simple song to play. The call and response, I think, really gives confidence to the congregation, and the chorus is very, very simple.
Hmm.
And so we have actually found it to be very easy to teach.
Hmm.
And so that's good. I think you could even do it without music. You could just sing it.
Yeah. Yeah. We were
Sandra, could
actually singing it, wrote it without a guitar or without an instrument.
Yeah.
And that's how
yeah.
it
I
kind of
was
came.
thumping the coffee table.
So the title of this album is Confessio. Sandra, could you just tell us a little bit about, like, I'm assuming that word, does it mean confession? Tell us a little bit about that kind of thematic overview of this whole album, if you could. And we can maybe talk about
Well,
some of the other songs that are in here. Yes.
yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm going to let Kristen give you the background on the language and the choices around that with the Irish heritage.
Okay.
I'm going to pass that one over to you.
Well,
Oh, well, you can
Kristen,
talk. Yeah.
go
Well,
ahead.
so this is the album that has most of the most traditional hymns that we've ever recorded in one piece, and a lot of that came out of last year, being at home, considering our heritage, both musically and spiritually,
Yes.
even missionally, how much music and mission work has come out of such a tiny little spot called Ireland, and also our Scotch Irish, Ulster Scots heritage as well, which led to another song which we did with Sandra called "All My Heart Rejoices," which actually opens with a walking song. I taught you about those Scottish walking songs, so
Yeah.
it's way up
Yeah.
at the top there. I think it's the fourth or fifth song.
Okay.
You'll see walking song, and then All My Heart Rejoices is the song of Anna. So we did the Hannah song and the Anna song. We're just working our way through these big female prayers of the Bible and setting them
Yeah.
to music. So I think Sandra could talk about Anna's song too, because that's one
Well,
we wrote when we were in Ireland.
well, I'd love to hear about it,
Yeah.
Sandra. Why don't you tell us?
Yes, and this one, and we wrote it long distance, and we were talking about just um, even just how so many of us have experienced like displacement, and then you see this story for us here of this woman Anna who just continued to wait on the Lord, and she was a widow from a young age, and then for her whole story, she's serving the Lord faithfully and waiting for the promise, and so. I think that we can relate to that. There's some resonance in that when we come up close to her prayers and we can hear that. And then we wanted to put that to music again so that we could remember and sing it and give voice to our own longings.
Hmm. Sandra,
Yeah.
could you tell me, this is a question I had, just about like the Irish music heritage that flows through a lot of this music? Because I'm assuming, in talking to you, you're an American, right? You're not from Ireland. But tell
Right?
me about, like, I don't, when I listen to Irish style music, something in my spirit, like the blood just starts to flow, and I feel like I just
Yeah.
want to get up and so tell me about what is so attractive to you about
Mhm.
working on a project and letting another sort of cultural heritage, a musical heritage, kind of flow through these songs. What do you find attractive about that?
I love that question. Well, I
Huh.
mean, my last name is McCracken, which is Scots Irish,
Yeah.
but it's
Okay.
way back there, and
Yeah.
so I think that in some way we carry this memory of where whatever your heritage is, and even if you don't know all the details of that. And I love Irish music, and I love getting to hear that firsthand. I also feel drawn to the hymns, and I think that's also part of the heritage. The melodies of these songs, like a lot of which are represented on this album, Confessio, they're the ones that are just enduring. They don't really go out of style. And I think that
Yeah.
I'm drawn to those kind of melodies because they make for a real unified singing. Like we can sing those songs together, Be Thou My Vision, and
Yeah.
these kinds of songs have this tune that is so easy to access and so beautiful. Like not just easy, but also beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Kristyn, I wonder if you could give me your take on that question as well. Just having come from Ireland, and if anybody has been a part of bringing some of that Irish tone, that Irish melody, that spirit, that joy, the way the acoustic instruments play, and you're bringing it into America, and people are loving it. So it just must, I don't know, it just must be so inspiring for
Well,
you to do that. Yeah.
well, it is, but it's essentially folk, folk music, which is meant to
Yeah.
be sung and played by lots of people at once.
Right.
Songs that are full
Okay.
of emotion and every season of life, songs that
Mm.
go with you as you work and as you go to sleep at night and as you come in and go, and they just go with you. And songs that you sing whenever you're little and you learn, and then you grow up and then you sing them and then you pass them on. That some of that folk tradition, I think, some of the values in that, some of the melodic
Hmm.
movement and the lyrical style, I think all serve the congregation in a very helpful way, and to try and find those melodies which bring people together, melodies that you're always trying to pursue a timeless melody. I think, and
Hmm.
the greatest hymns do, that you can sing when you're little and sing when you're old, and it sort of joins the seasons of life together.
Hmm.
And songs that is not so much about the soloist, although there's lots of opportunities to have all sorts of musical flair, but the thing you're going after is to get everybody in. You're
Hmm.
pulling everybody in, and I think that's been a helpful thing. But of course, there's so much crossover and linking between the traditional like folk music of Ireland and Scotland and all that has happened across America and down into the South. It's all being linked together in interesting ways. And when we first moved to Nashville about 11 years ago, we found like a greater affinity with the country music and the bluegrass and the folk musicians in town in terms of melody and purpose, and that has just been a great thing for us to be able to expand knowledge and understanding and creativity from both sides of the
Yeah.
ocean. And
Yeah.
that has been so great. And I've appreciated because Sandra has such a strong folk feel in her voice and how she
Hmm.
approaches a melody and how she sings it. And my singing voice is it's more of on the sweet side. I don't say that in some sort of like egotistical way because it drives me
No.
absolutely
Yeah.
nuts. I find it very hard to. I often feel I sound like a kindergarten teacher whenever I'm singing,
Yeah.
and not that Sandra is not the sweetest person in the world, but she is. But she has this lovely, like folky edge to her voice, and
Yeah.
so when I hear her sing, I'm like, oh yes, that's so great. And
Hmm.
so I love the blend. She stops me being too much one way.
Right.
I don't know how Sandra feels on the other way, but that's what I have loved about that, the different approaches to the sort of the folk sound whenever we sing. And I think the
Mhm.
blend I
Mm.
think it brings a
Yeah.
richness and a great joy to me.
Yeah. I'm so glad.
Yeah, there's
I wasn't expecting that answer to the when I was asking about the Irish heritage, but now just understanding it, it's all about the people. It's about, a platform for lots of instruments, lots of voices, lots of ages, generations.
hmm
It all starts to make sense now that this is really, I mean, this is the heart of the Gettys, what you have, pulled people together for so many years, and the hymns and that, and now it's so great, Kristyn, to hear you celebrating another close friend and bringing somebody in and learning from her. It's just like that spirit of even you, Kristyn, have things to learn and things to grow, and you need people, pouring into your life. So, okay, I have
Absolutely. And
one. Go ahead, and then I'll have another question.
no, I was just saying absolutely. And
Yeah.
I think having that so much to do and very little time. What I have loved as well working with Sandra is her ability to just focus in the moment and really connect. The amounts of time we've had 30 minutes here or 20 minutes there, and we've just been on a Zoom call and we've just
Mm-hmm.
that sort of
Mm-hmm.
mummy power.
Yeah,
this,
I love it.
this has to get done right now. And
Yeah.
so Keith says to me, why is it you're getting so much quicker results here over here right now? I was like, because we're just so focused, Keith.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't have a lot of time.
Okay, this is the last question, maybe just 5 or 7 minutes. But yesterday night, I was sitting in the parking lot of a grocery store waiting for groceries to get delivered into our car. And Keith gives me a call, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, what you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just sitting in the parking lot, man." And he says, "Oh, I'm just chewing on ice. I just dropped my daughter off at piano lesson and we went to McDonald's and I got a Coke and it was a cup full of ice, or I don't know. We're just kind of shooting the breeze." I'm like, "Okay." And anyways, and then he just wanted to say thanks so much for us being able to do this today. And I just want to say, like, I just really enjoy and appreciate Keith. He's been a good friend, and for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years since we've gotten to know each other. But I'm kind of just interested a little bit as to how do you see Keith fitting into the mix? Because he's not like either of you. I mean, he's a square and you are circles. So I just know that about him. He's very different. Got a very quirky personality. And sometimes I wonder, how does he fit in this mix of this community? And I thought he might be listening in, so let's gloat on him a little. Tell me, Kristyn, and I'm interested from you, Sandra, too, but just a few minutes to tell me what he brings to the picture of this world.
Well, the vision of what we do was born out of his brain. And it was just a great privilege of mine as his wife, and then as co-writer and co-worker in carrying that vision, that passion for congregational singing and revitalizing the hymn form. And he is a great musician, melody writer, but I think one of his greatest skills is his ability to gather people in. That's what he does. He just loves. He's incredibly social. I would be a little more of an introvert, and he is very social.
I know.
But he just loves meeting interesting people in different ways. He's actually probably the least jealous person I have ever met. He just has such a much stronger delight in seeing things done well and different people, interesting things. He's just always loved that. And I think that's why it has grown, the collaborations, the conference, all the things, because of his love to be around great people and just say, let's bring this person and that person and see if you can do this and that. And then he'll just stand back and just watch it all go.
Yeah.
He loves he loves that. Yeah.
Sandra, do you have any thoughts? I'm just interested in what you see when you look at the Kristyn and Keith Getty household.
Okay.
One of the I've noticed just getting to know them is just the amount of focus on, keeping the main thing and really not trying to, and I know they do a lot of things, but there's a tremendous amount of focus. Like it's not like I think being able to say, here's what we're focused on, here's the vision that God gave us, and this is what we're going to stay focused on. And then you see all these different manifestations of that. So the Sing Conference is part of it, but it's really just a very focused vision. And I think that says that Keith is somebody who's paying attention to God's call in his life and does it in a highly creative way. And so when we're writing, chime in and jump in and weigh in on the chorus or give feedback. And that's actually tremendously helpful because it's not heavy-handed, but he's just like, okay, here's my thought, and he'll pop in and then he'll pop back out. But I think being able to stay focused and yet not stifle creativity with that focus. And that's a rare gift.
Beautiful. What I see of Keith, just as I am observing, is I know he's in the spotlight a lot of times, but he seems like the kind of person that has a vision brings the people together and then kind of gets a little bit out of the way and lets it all sort of happen.
Yeah.
You know, he has this way of, he sits at the piano and plays these beautiful melodies, but the spotlight, he's probably most comfortable when the spotlight's not ultimately on
Yeah.
him. And Kristyn, you know, I know that a lot of times you are in the spotlight, but you just have a way in your personality where we all know you're like, you have a genuine heart in the way that you come across and the way that just your presence, it's not like, look at me, it's a community thing. I know that about you. And there's kind of like a rest and a peace in following that kind of lead and that vision. So I don't know, I just wanted to pour that back to you and your family. And I've been in your home, I've seen how, you know, the kitchen and the living room and the
It's a
deck,
total
and
mess.
it's all a big mess. That's right.
Yeah,
But
it's crazy. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
thank you, Ryan. You're very, very kind. I'd say that one of the things that um you know I have always been very nervous and struggled,
hmm
and so one of the greatest things was the discovery of being able to be involved in congregational singing, so that
hmm
I'm so much. I've conquered a lot of nervousness by the joy of being
hmm
able to sing with lots of other people,
yeah.
and so that's been really great. And would also say we're so grateful to Praise Charts for supporting the
uh
songs and print to
yeah,
getting the music out there in so many different places and
Mm.
cheering us on for such a long time. I'm sure
thank you.
Sandra feels the same, and we're
Yes.
grateful for your work.
Yes,
Privilege to get to circle up with you all. It's
yes.
a huge gift
Okay.
to be. Thank you.
Well, this has been really special. I've, you know, I like to be able to prick in behind, you know, the public side and find out who the real people are and let people share about the other. You've been very open a little bit, you know, just thanks for letting us into the window of your life and in behind this album. It's tremendous musicianship and great hymns. Most of these songs, most people will already know, but they'll feel kind of fresh as you listen to them again. And I think this has been a great window into the heart behind it. So thank you, Kristyn. Thank you, Sandra, for
Thank
sharing. This has been really
Thank you
special.
so much.
All right. And
Thank
just
you.
for everyone to know, we do have the music at PraiseCharts. You can just type in Confessio in the search to find it. We'll put links in the description of this video. And there's been lots of people listening live. I'm sure many more will listen as the days go on. So we'll look forward to sharing this music. Thank you. This is Ryan Dahl. This has
Thanks.
been Kristyn Getty and
Thanks,
Sandra
Ryan.
McCracken from Getty Music. Bye then. Hey, Devin, we made